Oh, this is Dr. Vasquez. We're trying to get you guys to also use GBUAHN Mobile. So from your phone or iPad, you're able to kind of come into the GBUAHN Mobile. You can go to the website, download the icon, and the first time you get into, you're going to see this. And basically, a lot of what you're seeing is you're going to need to come up with the GBUAHN ID. Now, a lot of the health home administrators are going to give you that, and you'll have it also in GBUAHN, so they'll give you that number. Once you enter the number, you also need your user ID that you get into GBUAHN with, and the password that you get into GBUAHN with. Through that process, you'll be able to sign in, and then this is what you're going to see. Your setup may be a little bit different depending on how you set it up in GBUAHN. So for GBUAHN, I'm using more of the medical stuff. So on the prescription side, some of these other documents you won't need. But you will use actually the calendar in addition to looking up charts, looking at triages, emails, labs, documents, and also some of your to-dos. This is a nice place to kind of keep track from your phone or your iPad, and it's all connected to GBUAHN. So whatever you do here, if you're on a PC, you're going to see the same thing. Also look at the color. Blue means not an issue. Red, as you see, means it's urgent, and yellow looks more along a priority. So keep that in mind. Okay, so we pressed into the calendar, and so you see the day's calendar. You'll see the patients that are listed. There may be different descriptions for them if they're coming in for transportation, whatever. When they were seen, all this stuff, you can actually change. So if you do go out, let's say as a driver, and pick someone up, you can change the status as picked up or seen. Also as a navigator, if you're out in the field, you can use this as a way to document a face-to-face by closing that. That is part of your process. Now, if I'm looking up, I want to go into lookup. When I click that, you get this. You can put, we're going to use an example of a test case. So let's say test. You get your choices down below. So if you use the last name, it'll start to give you the most possible matches within the electronic record if that patient is in our database. So you do this. We picked adult tests, and these are the things. You're right inside the chart. So you have a capability from the phone or the iPad to click on that, and you'll go right to the patient's contact info and call the patient from the phone. We'll show you a little bit about the camera, but the camera is also used to take a picture, and we'll show you the icon. So if the patient doesn't have a record picture in the record, you can actually do this. This is actually a direct sent. So if you wanted to, you can click whatever information is and hit direct sent, and it'll actually send it to direct, which is a secure entity. And home will always bring you back to home. So again, in this patient's chart, you have meds, triages, to-do, x-rays, problem lists, office notes. All these things are there, and when you click into any of them, you start going into the subset, the actual next level. So I clicked into the documents, and so you're seeing the different types of documents that are there. So this may look more like contact notes, anything that they may have, HRAs that appear in this fashion. When you click on them, this is a progress note. Again, it would be a contact note with all the information you need. And the funny thing is now from the mobile app, from the phone or iPad, if you have a digital signature, you come down below, you can actually touch it and it'll print and document it that you are the person, because you're signed in with your credentials, and it'll say that you are capable of signing that particular form. Now we go back and we're looking at more documents that are in there. So the interesting thing now is that you can have different types of documents, all visible by way of the phone or the iPad. So you don't have to go to the computer and do that. And an example is if you click into this, you're seeing actual rehab on this patient, and you'll have all the information. This is an image that you'll be able to read. Going back to the main schedule, if you click on top where the meds are, you're going to see the actual medications for that patient. Most of you, none of you will be able to create a medication to send out, but you'll be able to add a medication into the patient's chart, just in case they come up to tell you that they changed meds. Again, we're here. Click on top, and when you click on top, you're seeing this appear with the name, mailing address, and a thumbnail will begin to finally get a picture. Good looking guy there. So now you have a picture. If you click view patient's chart, you're going to go back and basically see this. Another option is if you hit the camera area, you can come up and look at a little bit of the patient. And this is where I can say you can add a photo if there was no photo prior to that, okay? And make sure that the code for that is photo once you take the picture. Now, we're back here again looking at the triages and all these things depending on what's going on. So we have red triages. When I click on this, I'm seeing that that's why it's red. It was an audit system. These are all the triages that have come in at the time they come in. If you click into any of them, then you'll be able to see the substance in those triages. And also, you can either call that individual patient if you have a triage, or use close it if there's nothing there, if it was something meant for you, and you can close it. And the action button. When you click on the action button, you get other choices. So this is close and exit, close and next. Sometimes if you have a lot of them, this is good because you can close next, as opposed to getting out and going back in. If for some reason you find that you want to reference this triage to you're out in the field and you looked at this triage, but you want to reference someone within the employees at GBUAHN, maybe the administrator, you can just create an email there and that'll be referenced directly to them, or create another triage based on some of the things you have here. Now, this is what happens when you open up the triage. All right, we're looking at other ways, and again, your icons may be a little bit different, but I think GBUAHN Mobile gives you that capability so you're not jumping up and down. On the lab side, if you have a patient that needs labs as a PHN or CHW, you can click on that, and you're actually going to be able to look at those labs. The one thing I wanted you to do is clicking on the email portion of it, which I bypassed, is you'll have emails, and these are emails that we use internally for a lot of different things, whether it's an issue that popped up or requesting information from the different departments to make sure that the navigator is keeping track. Again, it'll show that you've read it. You can create another new email based on that. And these action parts are where you can attach it to a triage or a document. Now, I was pointing to that was the actual email area. Again, the documents could be that you can go directly to documents the same way. And to-dos are all similar to the triage model. When you're clicking on labs for a particular patient, if you click on it, you will actually see the actual lab. And I think it's nice because you can keep track of, as we get into more care coordination and more disease management and health coaching, the navigators, if they're out in the field with their actual phone, will see what levels or what things need to be checked on, at least for patient care. So the amount of information that you can assess within the actual application, not only is it secure because it's all encrypted and you have to get passwords and user IDs, but it's also backed up to the servers so that information will never be lost. And at the same time, anyone can access it at the same time, which is valuable for us as we work in a pretty dynamic environment. So that was it for this, and I just want you guys to begin to understand and use it. A lot of tools, not very complicated. Thank you, Dr. V.